Okay, here we go. We're going to go backwards. So instead of seeing an equation and graphing it, we're going to see a graph and we're going to write the equation. We're going to do this to get ready for the Delta Math practice of this. And this is also where you'll be taking your test on going backwards through Delta Math. And so the first thing is we look at it and we say, who is this? So who is this graph? So I brought these little things along. I'm not going to use them each time because as cute as they are, they're going to be time consuming and make the video longer. So as you can see, I'm dragging them to certain spots. So if we are looking at cosine, which we're looking at cosine, right? Cosine is the one that goes up, middle, down, middle, up, or sometimes it goes down, middle, up, middle, down. But one thing it doesn't do is it never starts in the middle. So we see here that we have cosine. So why did I pick 5 dots? Because I've got 5 tick marks. I know that in my 5 tick marks, I go ahead and I finish a pattern. So it's just showing me my first tick mark, there's my dot. Second tick mark, right? Third tick mark. Now these tick marks are spread out, and that's okay. That is okay, but we know, hey, we've completed a pattern from 0 to 2 pi. And we say, oh, well, that's what we're used to. Even if the tick marks are spread out, we are used to cosine taking 2 pi to complete a pattern. And so if the period is equal to 2 pi, that means that x, or theta, because we use x and theta to represent the angle, doesn't have any company. Now on Delta Math, I don't know if you leave it blank, whether it counts it as a 1, but I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 in here. We also know this is cosine, so we'll put a cosine in here. And so we've got 2 things. We're used to seeing something where, here, let's finish this up and I'll write it a second way. But here, right here, this is our vertical shift, and we're used to seeing it here, but it can go either way. So let's ask ourselves, where's the midline? Well, the midline is right here. It's still at 0. It's on the x-axis, so it is not shifted, so we don't have a vertical shift. Okay, and then this is, of course, our amplitude. And our amplitude is the distance from the midline to any of our max points, which is 3. All right, so if we were to rewrite this this way, we wouldn't put 0, but I'm just showing you. We've seen this before, right? And we wouldn't put a 1. But where our vertical shift goes first, but you can also see it last, and that's how Delta Math does it. So we're going to, in this video, we're going to practice it that way. All right, so once again, when I see this, I'm like cosine, right? Because it doesn't start in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and do my 5. I've got my up. I've got my middle. Where's my middle? Is it still the x-axis? Yep, it is, right? The middle is the x-axis. Our midline still splits the x-axis. So we're going around and, well, look at that. You know, it is cosine. It is, oh, but something happened. Nope, nothing happened. It's 1, 0, next 1, 0, 1. So it's cosine, right? And the amplitude, it's from the midline is 0, so there's no change. The height from the midline is 2, so that's our amplitude. And we're still at 2 pi, right? We got our 5 dots. We're done with 1 pattern, and we stopped at 2 pi. So x does not have any company. All right, not sure why we had to do that again. All right, but this matches what we have in our packet. And yay, finally, sine, because it starts in the middle. So middle up, middle down, middle. So we complete a full pattern, 1 period in 2 pi. That means that x had no company. This is sine. All right, let's see. Okay, midline is still there. So that's no vertical shift, and our amplitude is 2. All right, I'm hoping for some sort of a little bit more going on here. Oh, thank God. Okay, we got something going on here. Our midline definitely shifted, right? And who is this? It starts in the middle, even though our midline is shifted. So let's go ahead. We know that we're going to, if it starts in the middle, we're going to have sine. And then we also notice something. Sine should be going middle up, middle down, but it's not. It's going middle down, middle up, middle. So, and, oh, we completed a whole pattern in pi. All right, so we're going to have to, X has company, right? Theta has company, X has company. And so one of the things that we're going to look at first is that sine is not following its normal pattern. Normally it goes middle up, middle down, middle up, right? So it's going down first. And when sine goes down first, that means that we flipped it and we're going to have a negative in front of whatever our amplitude is. All right, let's talk about what does it mean? Oh no, we finished a pattern in pi. This is where we talk about we need to put something with x, because clearly x has company because the period is not 2 pi. So this is our little gimmick that we're going to do to find what goes with x. We're going to say 2 pi over box. Whatever goes in the box is what we're going to put in the box, equals whatever our period is. And in this case, it's pi. So we're going to put pi there. All right? And so we can do this logically. 2 pi divided by what gives me pi? 2, right? Okay. We could also cross multiply. I'll do that real quickly, but this is going to go 2 right there. We could cross multiply. I'm just going to rewrite this problem, but a little bit smaller. Oops, box. I know it's 2, but it's a box right now. Put a 1 underneath it. So we cross multiply. We get 2 pi times 1 is 2 pi. Box times pi is pi box. We divide both sides by pi. Pi's cancel out. Box is equal to 2. All right. Now, the midline shifted, didn't it? The midline is now down here. So we had a vertical shift of -2. So we're going to put a -2 here. Now, if we were writing this equation, we would put -2. We wouldn't put a plus negative, but I'm setting you up to be able to do these on Delta Math. All right, how far away is the height from the midline? Just 1, so we'll put a 1 here. And of course, that negative means that we realize the pattern has flipped from middle up, middle down, middle up to middle down, middle up, middle. All right, here we go. Let's see what's happening for number 5. Let me check my time and that we're still going. All right, so who is this? It's cosine again, right? Because we start way up here. We've got up. You know what? Before we do the middle, let's go ahead and find the middle, because clearly the midline has shifted. We can find the middle 2 ways. We can say, all right, that's 6. That's -2. We can add 6 plus -2, right? We get 4. And then to find the midline, we just divide by 2, and we get 2. But also we have our eyeballs, and we can eyeball this. And we can see clearly that 2 is what splits it in half. All right. So right now we've got a lot of things we already know. We know that it's cosine. We know that our midline shifted to 2, so we're going to put that 2 in there. And let's now shift to the dots. The dots. So here we go. We've got up, middle, down, middle, up, and we finish at 2 pi. Anytime we finish our period at 2 pi, we don't need to put anything in. With Delta Math, we put a 1. Somebody's going to have to tell me if you leave it blank whether that's okay. All right, how far away are we from the midline? Well, we are 1, 2, 3 from the midline. And is cosine's pattern right? Are we up, middle, down, middle, up? We are. So we don't need to put a negative there. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's just, before we do who am I, let's find the midline. That might be helpful. I kind of do it differently each time. It's just whatever, as long as we get them all done. I'm at -4, I'm at 2. We already know that. We can add those together, right? 2 plus -4 is -2, divided by 2 is -1, or you could just eyeball it. All right, we can see that -1 is our new midline, so that's our vertical shift, and the vertical shift is going to go there for Delta Math. Now let's go ahead and do our little dots. Pick a different color. All right, here we go. We've got up, middle, down, middle, up. I feel like I'm just repeating myself. We could probably skip some of these, couldn't we? It's finishing at 2 pi, so there's a 1. It is cosine. How far away is the max or the min? It doesn't matter which way we look. It's 1, 2, 3. All right, let's keep going. I wonder if I'm going to have, when cosine is flipped, let's see if we're going to have a cosine flipped. No. All right, cosine flipped, I always like to say cosine normally looks like a cup where you pour your, don't drink soda, so your bubbly, healthy water. All right, If cosine is flipped, it's going to look like a cup that's upside down, and all your bubbly water is going to fall out, and that's a negative thing that happens, all right? All right, but I did not include that. That is a sad thing. All right, oh, this got a lot going on. Let's find the midline. 4 plus negative 2, right, is 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we've got our midline here. So we know that we're going to put that 1 there. And then let's go ahead and do our little dots. Obviously, it's sine because it starts in the middle, but middle down, middle up, middle. Oh, thank goodness. We finished a period, and it is only equal to pi over 2, so we'll have to do our box method again. Also, sine normally goes middle up, middle down, and this one's going middle down, middle up. So we're going to go ahead and put a little negative in front. Why not just find the amplitude? This is the midline. 1, 2, 3, so we'll have a negative 3 here. We already said it's sine. All right, we've got one more thing to do. I'm going to put that in orange, and that is we finished a sine period. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We finished it in pi over 2. So we're always going to do this. Anytime it's not 2 pi, we're going to stop and say 2 pi over box equals whatever it finished its period in. And in this case, it's pi over 2. Let's cross multiply, so we'll get what? Let me scooch down a little bit because I'm writing so big. We'll get 4 pi equals pi box. We'll divide both sides by pi, and we'll get that the box equals 4. And there you go. All right, I think we only have one more. Let's see if something spectacularly fun happens in this one. Let's go. We can obviously it's sine. We can see that the midline is up to 2. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put our little dotties in. We've got middle up. Okay, it's going good because it should be going, you know, middle up, middle down, middle. And boring, right? We finished a period in 2 pi, so that means we've got a 1 there. We already know that this is sine. And then lastly, how far away from our midline? We're 1 away. All right. I think you're going to get a lot of practice on this with Delta Math, and you're going to become really good at it. So there we go. We got our Delta Math to do. Thank you for joining me. I will see you in class as soon as I can get my video to stop. Let's see.